night of my life. I think I'm a Yankees fan now.
Go Yankees. Yes. Go Yankees. Okay. Go Yankees, I guess. I hope you're more excited when the Yankees win. Thank you, guys. Go Yankees. Go Yankees?
Yeah.
Go Yankees. Hey guys, welcome to Garbage Time. I'm your host, Kate Nolan. On tonight's show, we talk to Bears running back Matt Forte. Matt Walsh from Veep stops by to hang out. And as you've seen, we're going to take a trip to Yankee Stadium. But first, kind of weird. We had a lot of fun things planned for the top of the show as of last night. We really did. We had a bit about coaches in the AFC East and Victor Cruz's text message debacle. It was a fun show, but we decided to scrap all that when this happened.
You've got a sack-a-game habit and an all-pro background stuff. Will it take a while to ramp up to that, or has all this time been ramping up to that?
I hope not. I hope I come out guns blazing.
That's Greg Hardy, who returns from suspension this week and will play on Sunday for the Cowboys. Hardy was suspended after a judge and an independent investigation by the NFL found him guilty of multiple instances of physical violence against his then-girlfriend, including, but not limited to, the time he threw her onto a futon covered in assault rifles. That guy, facing the media for the first time, said he'd like to come out guns blazing. That's baffling to me, and not just as a woman, but as a person who majored in public relations. How do you let that comment happen? Oh, I'm sorry, not just let it happen, publish it on the league's official website, endorsing it with your precious shield, which, oh, I noticed has a pink ribbon on it this month because you care about women. That's cool, thanks. And if you're thinking, relax, the guy used the wrong phrasing, don't get your panties in a bunch. First of all, hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the show. But second of all, you're wrong. See, when reporters asked Hardy questions about his treatment of women, he deflected and insisted on bringing the focus back to football.
Do you have any remorse or regret over what happened that led you to be out this long, or do you just feel...
I'm sorry I couldn't be here for my teammates. You know, the worst feeling in the world is not being there for somebody you care about or somebody that needs you.
Okay, but then when they asked him about Tom Brady, a question about football, here's his response per Brandon George from the Dallas Morning News. I love seeing Tom Brady. You've seen his wife? I hope she comes to the game. I hope her sister comes to the game. Greg Hardy had to pretend to respect women for 12 minutes. Just 12 minutes. And he couldn't even do that. And what's worse, no one stopped him. They let him go on about girlfriends and guns and posted video of it on DallasCowboys.com because who cares, right? Women won't see it. Women only care about football during those events they run where they tell them what to cook on game day and give them free manicures. And then another reporter, a person I'm supposed to feel is a colleague of mine here in sports media, asked if Hardy looks forward to playing teams such as the Jacksonville Jaguars and whether he finds their quarterback, Blake Bortles' significant other, attractive. Christ, guys. Enough. Enough. I see this in my timeline next to a story about Stedman Bailey being fined by the league for pretending to take a nap on a football in the end zone, and it's just like, what are we doing? What matters to you? Seriously, what matters to you? Because expecting a garbage human who has been punished for being garbage to come back from his suspension and not immediately resume being garbage is asking the bare minimum. And if me hoping that the league and the Cowboys and their PR people and the media could act with just a shred of human decency is ruining football for you, then I'm disappointed, I guess, in how much we're willing to accept in order to protect our precious Sundays. Anyway, now that the mood's nice and high in here, we do have a hilarious show lined up that we must go on with, starting with the story we were supposed to be covering last night. The Yankees played the Astros in the AL wildcard, so we headed up to the Bronx to have a little fun with Yankee fans. I'm going to read you a name. You tell me if that's a member of the Houston Astros or an astronaut from the movie Martian, The Martian, which is in
I watched
theaters
that this
now.
weekend.
You did? Okay, good. So you should, if you get this wrong, you're an idiot.
All right.
Chris Beck.
Astro.
Astronaut. Are you nervous?
I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous.
Yeah.
You look a little nervous. Jed Lowry.
That's an Astro.
Yeah, no, right? Alex Vogel.
Astro.
not. That is an astronaut from the movie you lied and told me you just saw this weekend. George Springer.
Astronaut?
No, that's an Astro. Rich Purnell.
Astro.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Astro?
I agree.
You just go with everything he says?
100%
You should go down your own road, because that is an astronaut. Rick Martinez.
Gee, Rick Martinez. That sounds like a baseball player. It's gotta be an Astro.
That's an astronaut. Rick Martinez.
Astro.
Not.
Martinez sounds like a baseball player.
We can edit out the racism. Colby Rasmus.
Astronaut? Astro?
He's an Astro. Mark Watney.
Astro.
Astronaut.
Oh, you guys got to make a decision. Come to a final answer. Go with Tootsie. Go with it. It's an astronaut.
And now, second guest Tess.
Blast. If only I'd started Leonard Hankerson instead of Antonio Brown, I would have won this week.
This has been second guest Tess.
Oh, welcome back to Garbage Time, guys. So, Tess obviously doesn't have the whole fantasy football thing figured out yet. And as I found out from Bears running back Matt Forte, neither do a lot of his fantasy owners. He FaceTimed me from a car yesterday, ? Which means here's another episode of Big Name, Small Budget. Hi, Matt.
Hey,
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Lenovo.
me and a bunch of other NFL players such as Odell Beckham, Demaryius Thomas, Eddie Lacy, DeMarco Murray, we're all professors of a fantasy online college where the chancellor is JB Smoove.
In one of your videos, you were talking about fans that tweet at you during a game while you're playing. How many of those tweets would you say you get per week?
After a game, I've always have on Twitter probably 200 to 300 mentions, and there's no way I'm gonna read all of them. Most of them saying good job and do good or score me 2 touchdowns, or some people just go crazy like, hey, score 8 touchdowns for me. You score 1 and they're like, oh, I needed 5. What's wrong with you?
I figure since you're playing when people tweet these, you obviously can't respond, but that you would probably want to. And so I pulled a couple of things that people have tweeted at you. And I'm going to give you the opportunity here to respond to some of these. Francis said, I'm about to change my whole fantasy team. I'm dropping every bum and dumbass Matt Forte.
Well, Francis, that seems like a good thing to do, to drop everybody from your team, and especially to drop me. So looks like you're the dumbass.
Hugh said, Matt Forte, get your together. You're screwing my fantasy. By the way, he spelled your, Y-O-U-R, so I don't know if you want to make fun of that, but feel free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Hugh, in case you missed, third grade spelling, when you say your, you have to put the apostrophe and the R-E when you're talking about me. So, that's correct spelling if you're going to do that. But I see why you're losing in fantasy, because you can't even spell right.
That's straight from Professor Forte. John said, Matt Forte, tonight you lost a fantasy owner, a fan, and most importantly, a friend. Next year, I'm drafting your backup.
I'm not so sure I would ever be his friend or whatever was, but yeah, I could do with a lot less friends like him.
You're going to miss your friend, John.
Yeah, I'm going to miss him so bad.
All right, that won't make you listen to any more mean tweets. I have a personal question for you, since you teach people how to be better at fantasy football. Why did I pick C.J. Anderson instead of you this year in my draft?
'Cause you're just like Francis and Hugh.
I'm an idiot. I had you last year, and I named my team Forte-year-old virgin. Do you like that?
That's funny.
That's good.
I think the funniest one I've ever seen was one this year. It was It Hurts When Eifert.
Thank you for doing this interview, and make sure everybody you check out the fantasy online college videos at Lenovo.com. Thank you, Professor. Thanks, Matt Forte. Hopefully people will stop tweeting at him when he's playing. He can't answer you guys. He's playing football. But for everyone else on Twitter, please don't ever stop tweeting, because then this segment doesn't exist. This is Delete Your Account. Delete your account! Okay, so this week, I was going to tell the San Francisco 49ers to delete their account after they felt it necessary to tell us all how much their account was worth. My new Twitter value is $1,457,743.76 according to Twalue.com. What about yours? But unfortunately, before I could tell them to delete their account, they deleted that tweet themselves and presumably fired their social media intern, because that always solves problems. So really, I swear I wasn't going to do this, but they left me no choice. On Sunday night, Darren Ravel tweeted, "The Dallas Cowboys have quickly turned into the Dallas Owlboys." Hashtag injuries, in case you didn't pick up where he was going with that. Darren Ravel, delete your account. Delete your account! Ravel with the three-peat. No applause, though. Can anyone stop him? No, please, seriously, someone stop him. Next up, I do a very, very serious interview with Veep's Matt Walsh, but first, I have the worst co-owner for my fantasy team this year.
Hey, Katie, meeting time?
I'll be in 1 second. I'm just talking to my fantasy team's co-manager, and I can never get a hold of him, and I finally have him. Okay.
Hey, Matt. Good to see your Wi-Fi is actually working. Wait, you changed our team name?
Surprise.
Martian Lynch. That's funny. I like it.
Obviously.
Hey, so we beat Neil last week.
In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah. So should we start Larry Fitzgerald or James Jones this week? What do you think?
Let's do the math.
No, obviously I already looked at their stats. Can you just make a call, Larry Fitzgerald or James Jones?
In the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to science the out of this.
Ugh. Okay. How are you doing in the Survivor League?
I'm still alive.
Congrats. Talk to you soon.
This week on Thursday Night Football, the Texans and Colts clash in a must-win game in the AFC South. The quarterback matchup you've all been waiting for. Ryan Mallett versus Andrew Luck, who's injured, so maybe Matt Hasselbeck? Blah. You know, my job is to promote Thursday Night Football, but it's just impossible this week. So here's a list of things you could do instead of watching this game. For instance, Narcos is on Netflix preseason. Basketball is on. There's probably some hockey on. You could call your grandparents. When's the last time you did that? Is that Tina Fey movie out yet? Thursday Night Football. Colts. Texans. Who the cares?
Welcome back to Garbage Time, guys. You know, we've had a lot of guests on this show, but we haven't had any guests come back for a second visit yet. Until this week, when Matt Walsh from Veep returned. He said that he left his umbrella here last time, and he needs it because it's been raining, but I knew what he really meant was that he wanted to help me work on my journalism chops by letting me ask him totally plausible questions about Chicago Bears that I pulled out of a hat.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Alshon Jeffrey was fined for that thing that he whispered to the commissioner's cat?
I think that's overstepping.
You do?
I think the Goodell era tries to control these guys too much. You know, they're all entertainers. We have to remember, every one of them, they're not just athletes, they're entertainers, and they're forced to do, you know, press after games. You can't avoid those things. They're
Right.
told you have to be a mouthpiece for this league, and yet when you communicate with a cat, and cats are notoriously unreliable.
Right.
So whatever that cat claimed he said can't be, you know, it's not fair.
Would you feel differently if it were a dog?
I would. I like dogs more than cats.
Loyal.
Yeah, and I don't think a dog would have taken the issue upstairs. I think a dog would have just rolled with it.
Just buried it
Just buried it,
in
yeah.
the backyard.
Backyard or a park.
How do you feel about the fact that Robbie Gould married his mail carrier?
I like the blue-collar romance. I think that football's a working man's game, and I think that appeals to his fan base. I like it. And she's beautiful.
How much do you think stamps cost for him now?
I don't think there's any kind of hookup for that. I think a forever stamp is what the government wants you to pay.
Do you think this will help Robbie Gould's ability to deliver?
In what sense? Do you mean on the field?
Mail.
Oh, no. I don't think he has any interest. I think they probably have a healthy professional respect. Like, she's the expert on, you know, mail delivering, and
Right.
he's the expert on kicking.
How do you feel about Mike Ditka and the fact that he found a magic lamp
I think, you know, he's getting up in age. And I don't know, I'm not gonna...
Are you saying you think it was just a lamp?
Me personally, I've never witnessed a magic lamp. He's never demonstrated the magical powers of that lamp, yet he clings to it and says he can do amazing things with it. But I pity, you know, I feel bad for his family. These are hard times, and I wish the Ditkas all the best.
Strong accusations.
I believe it's just a lamp.
Just a lamp.
Just a lamp.
No magic at all.
No.
Wow. Last one. How do you
Thank you,
feel?
because I have to go.
That's good. Good, because the elevator is here waiting for
Well,
you.
I came under here in false. I thought this was a puff piece. I didn't know you were going to ask me hard-hitting questions.
Well, that's my job,
All
to
right.
get to the heart of these issues.
I feel set up.
Issues such as the fact that Matt Forte
Mm-hmm.
saw your movie A Better You and loved it. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel good. Any kind of utility back in the NFL tends to have good taste in cinema, you know. Guys who can pass and run between the tackles and outside definitely have like an opinion I want to hear, you know what I mean? So I'm honored that he liked the movie, and he's a fan of improv comedy and quality comedy, hopefully. I'm very excited, and hopefully he'll get on board to my next project.
Comedy is his forte.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Matt Walsh, thank you for being here.
I wish I could say it was a pleasure, but it wasn't. I want to get the out of here.
Oh, thanks so much for coming back, Matt. You left it here again, so we will see you season 3. Go see his movie A Better You this Friday. Just gonna drop it. Coming up, I add and drop things from my life, and we crown our Garbage Time Hero of the Week. Here is one that is so amazing you won't believe it didn't win.
I sit here today incredibly offended. Kevin Durant is trying to put me in some kind of jacket or whatever the case may be. Let me be very, very clear, my brother, it does not fit. You do not want to make an enemy out of me. I'm not having it. I've done nothing wrong. Kevin Durant is the one that's lying. All of these things that I said make absolute sense.
Isn't Stephen A. hilarious? Uh-oh, did I just make an enemy out of him? Welcome back to Garbage Time, everyone. It's time for Ad Drop. All right, adding to and dropping to tonight. First up, I'm going to add the bravest bulldog I've ever seen. Check this out. Judging by how quickly those Bears gave up, I'd say they're Chicago Bears. Just kidding. That dog is a boss. That is how you handle bears. On that note, I'm gonna drop this screaming lady who does not know how to handle anything, especially a bear.
Why are you breaking my kayak? Bear! Please stop breaking my things. It's not even food. It doesn't even taste good.
That actually is an effective way to get the bear to stop eating your kayak. Unfortunately, it's going to result in him eating you. Okay, next up, I'm going to add Professor Dave, who, according to this tweet, received the email on the left from a student asking him to reschedule the midterm so he could go to the Cubs wildcard game, and responded with the email on the right saying that he would. That's awesome. Unless, of course, the Cubs lose, and then this kid drowns his sorrows in beer and fails his midterm and has to retake the course next year. Go Cubs! Very Chicago episode today. But speaking of celebrations, which I definitely just was, I'm going to drop this overly excited guy who thought that he had hit a home run, as you'll see here, gave a sassy little bat flip. Yeah, I am athletically gifted, only to then have it turn out to be a routine fly ball. Clearly very embarrassed. Okay, that's it. That's Ad Drop. All right, guys, running out of time, and we need to crown our garbage time hero of the week. This week, it's these kids, I love this, who are too busy dancing to care about football. Oh, God. It's so good. I could spend an entire episode breaking down that game film. How is that not a false start or something? Definitely an illegal motion. All right, guys, that's it for this week's show. Thanks so much to Matt Forte and Matt Walsh for stopping by. And thanks to who wrote this, all the Yankees fans for being so cool. My mother is definitely going to call me after this episode. I'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned for more garbage. Astro. Let's do that again, because you're just a I didn't push record yet. Definitely keep going. It's not on tape. Teddy Sanders. Jesus.
Can we get a metal plate to cover these loose wires? It just feels like this set is dangerous or a fire hazard.
It's funny because this exists. Like what?
It's hard mounted to the floor, just in case you need to start a fire. There's this little.
It's gonna look tighter when I